chair. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair, the world's lightest wheelchair, is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Out of dead carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog.
Hi, I'm Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog. You know, when I get the hankering for a hot dog, I go to Cleveland, Texas. Just a couple blocks off the square, they got Loafing Dog. They got the Neely Dog, the Mary Sunshine Dog, the Casey Dog, and the Shirley Dog. Why, they even got the Pacer Dog, the Brooklyn Dog, and the Jim Dog. Can't forget the Shane Dog, or the Joy Dog, and the Monty Dog. I like that fool. The Nakia Dog and the Braxton Dog round things off. Why, they even got a kids menu too.
Loafing Dog, 208 East Chambers Street, Cleveland, Texas. Lunch, catering, or takeout, plus outdoor seating. Phone numbers 817-556-1040.
This is Wilford Brimley. And don't forget, Loafing Dog won't give you diabetes.
When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Leach Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson, Cleveland, Texas. Leach Brothers has been family-owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth, open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
You're listening to JoCo Community Radio.
Join us live here on Facebook or download the TuneIn Radio app. It's free. Where we are live 365 on JoCo Community Radio, the voice of Johnson County, Texas. Reach's mission is to support safe and healthy choices vital to the well-being of our youth, families, and community. This show will guide you, educate you, and inspire you to be part of a solution and to reach out and help make a difference in our communities. What began as a local movement in the city of Midlothian grew to include programs throughout Ellis County within only a few years and eventually expanded to neighboring Johnson County, Texas. I'm Erica with Reach across Johnson County, and we also have...
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Nikki Bowman. I'm the Drug Free Communities Coalition Coordinator. Thank y'all for joining us.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ashley Vasquez, and I'm one of the Mental Health Project Coordinators, and we are so excited to announce our guest.
Hi, y'all. I'm Sarah. I do a little of this and that, but I'm partnering with Reach for the Mental Health Conference. And I have a quick, I'm going to actually skip real fast and go to the announcements that we have coming up. And then I'm going to tell you all a little bit about Sarah because we've got some stuff to share with you about her. Okay, so we have Alvarado's first National Night Out coming up on Tuesday, October 4th from 6 to 8. Guys, we're so excited about this. The community is really coming together in Alvarado, and it is so exciting that Reach is getting to partner with them just on this walk with the community. The police department's going to be cooking barbecue for everybody. We've got face painters coming out. We have Austin English is going to be playing live on the square. What else do we have going on that night?
Possibly balloons.
Possibly a balloon guy and balloons, snow cones.
Giveaways.
Yes, we have raffle items that we're going to be handing out. So, and just for Alvarado to be able to I don't know, just take the time to recognize and have National Night Out in their community. I'm just so excited to be able to do that with them. And then let's talk about QPR at the Burleson Fire Station number 16. That is coming up. Who attended this event? Do you want to share a little bit about it?
Yes. Okay. So the QPR, it actually is an educational event regarding suicide, which I feel is very important because right now, ages 6 through 12, the suicide rates have spiked tremendously. That's really scary. That's only fourth grade, fifth grade age children that, I mean, they're talking about. But here locally, they had mentioned that they had several middle schoolers that had recently committed suicide using over-the-counter medications, ibuprofen, Benadryl, Tylenol.
The twins came home yesterday and they got their student IDs, and they were telling me what's on the back of their student IDs now, which I thought was a good step for Burleson. They have a suicide hotline number on the back, which kind of breaks my heart that
They need
that
it.
the education system's even having to see that the kids need that. But the twins, they thought that was great, and they were sharing it and telling me about it in the car. And then there was another number on there. Do you want to tell me what else was on the back of that? You don't remember? But yeah, that's really sad. It breaks my heart. Anyways, I was just thinking of that when you're sharing about the age, because that's their age.
But it's really teaching anyone how they can be a gatekeeper and help prevent suicide. They estimate that 97% are actually preventable, or just needing someone to just step in and care. So we're really trying to say, question your friends. Are you okay? If they say yes, ask again. They said the key to ask twice. Like, hey, are you okay? Because I've really noticed that here lately you seem down. You're not interested in your normal activities or not seeming like yourself. I mean, show them evidence. And a lot of times by somebody reaching out and caring, they hear that somebody can relate to you. Somebody is paying attention to you, and your sadness is coming across. So be that person. Don't be afraid to question. But then the next step is going to be persuading them to get help. And then that, a professional, somebody that they can turn to, a trusted adult, if it's a peer of yours. And then referring to the resources that they need. If they're in a crisis emergent situation, or if your friend says, hey, I'm wanting to end it all. I really would like to drink bleach, or that you hear that they have a plan, that it is an emergency situation and someone needs to be notified right away. A lot of the youth will actually tell a friend, and sometimes that falls on deaf ears. It doesn't go any further. But by saying something to a teacher or trusted adult, someone could, save this person. Right?
I remember when my daughter was in 6th grade, and she came home and let me know that one of her friends told her that when she was going to get home after school, that she was going to hang herself. And Kendall was so scared to tell me this because she felt like tattling, but then she was really sad about it. So I didn't know the parent. It was, the 6th grade. It was new friendships being made at school. And working in child welfare, my first instinct, I didn't want to get CPS involved because you don't really know. But she was saying that her parents were having a lot of issues at home financially and things like that. And that's why she thought this might help them. And so what I did was I called and just said a principal had to get on the phone with me. Someone had to, because it was like 4:00, and they handled it well. That parent ended up calling me. They had no idea, but they did get that child some help. So it is so important to tell your kids it is okay if you think someone's struggling, and it's better to come and talk to a parent. And if you think you're getting your friend in trouble, then to not say anything, because what if something had happened that night? So what is the event though? So QPR, that's what Burleson is.
Yes. So this JoCo QPR is teaching everyone how to be a gatekeeper, how anyone, even teens, can be this person. Parents, friends, neighbors, teachers, ministers, doctors, nurses,
All of our first responders should be able to, put these in motion.
And they have tacos.
Yes, and they gave us free food. They gave us tacos on a Tuesday. So
you were at the last one, and it was
yes, and I feel
you
like even
learned
though
stuff. I can see.
I've had some education in that. I feel like it was still advantageous for me to attend and network and also meet like-minded people that really care about others.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. I mean, I'm kind of excited about that event now. If you want to register for that event, you go to the jordanharrisfoundation.org/events October Taco. And then we'll also share the flyer to Reach Across Johnson County's Facebook page. But it's kind of crazy that we just spoke about that. And then we're going to introduce our guest, who I think is going to have a lot to share with the topic that Erica was just covering. So Sara is a Christ follower, wife, mother, yoga instructor, writer, and mindfulness coach. She's passionate about helping people find peace, positivity, and accepting the love of Jesus Christ. Through her local and YouTube yoga classes, self-published book, and social media platform, she shares mental healing tips and tricks and intentional living products. And just knowing Sara, she just has a heart of gold, everybody. So, Sara, thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Thank y'all for having me. I could talk for hours about this stuff.
And Sarah's going to probably share a little bit about her story. And then we have the upcoming Rise Mental Health Conference, and that's our topic tonight. And I think it'll all kind of come together on why this is so big on Sara's heart and for the community and just for her family and everybody, and then how Reach Across Johnson County decided to walk along this mission as well. So
yeah. All right. Well, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and insomnia when I was about 11, and struggled for a long time, was relying on a lot of medication that really just numbed me out. I was like a zombie for years. I've got a lot of blank spots in my memory from my youth. I know I got into some trouble in college, just making poor choices, mixing, alcohol and making choices that ultimately led me hitting my rock bottom and trying to take my life. And my loving parents were there for me when I hit that rock bottom, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna help you rise out of this slump." And so they got me more help. I had been in therapy for years, and they got me some little bit deeper help. And my dad started talking to me about like physical exercise and how he feels best when he moves his body. And I was like, okay, well, what's this exercise thing about? And I learned about meditation. I'm a Christ believer, so I've always got the Bible, but I really dove into meditating on God's word. And of course, years later, a career kind of blossomed out of that. It was all God's timing, but it was nothing that I had ever intended. And I started feeling healed. I got off medication. I started feeling what I had been looking for a while, normal, what's normal, but I was feeling more normal. And a year ago, I was really feeling like I was making a difference. And I heard God say like, "Hey, you've got to put this on paper." And so I wrote a book, and it's really just my story. I feel like everything in life kind of happens for a reason. I think God puts us in storms so that we can see the rainbow and really admire that beauty that he's prepared for us. So I wrote that last year. And then in January of this year, I felt this tug that there's so much more that I could be doing to help people find hope and peace. And I thought, okay, well, what about all the tools that I've used? Cryotherapy, yoga, healthy juices, like little things, little tools, tangible things. And I was like, okay, cool. Vendor fair, how fun. Like, you've all heard of a health fair. I was like, let's do a health fair. And I've got some connections just from doing things in the community. And then I kept hearing this nudge to go bigger and just to be more impactful. We're in Texas, so go big or go home. And then I started thinking about speakers. I was in Toastmasters, if you guys have heard of that. It's
I did Toastmasters a few years ago.
I love it. I wish I could still do it.
I did it because I had to do it through work.
Oh yes, that makes sense though, because it equips you to be able to like even this get in front of people and talk. And so I was like, well, maybe there needs to be like speeches being made. And I was like, okay, maybe this needs to be bigger. And so we've got speakers. And then I'm trying to remember how it started. Nikki, do you remember how you and I started?
On my end, when you're saying like God was talking to you, I rolled into the coalition coordinator position at Reach. And one of the first things whenever we received the COVID funding was mental health.
Right.
And I just kept telling Jen, my boss, I was like, we can have a conference, and I envisioned it at Pathway. And I was just envisioning like speakers and great swag that people could walk away with mental health messaging on. And just, I had all these great ideas. And then one day, somehow your post about you wanting to do a conference or looking for speakers or something, someone tagged me.
Lisa
I
Boltinghouse.
don't remember. Okay. And I remember we met at the Cryotherapy.
Yes, you came to my work. Yeah.
Yes, and I felt God in that room.
It was crazy.
It was. I was like, oh my gosh, everything that I had been literally envisioning, like, guys, in my mind about what the conference was going to look like. We were just on this.
We were
wild.
vibing. It wasn't crazy. It was just God being obvious, because that's what he does.
So I left that meeting and was like, I really do think this conference can happen. And I know the past, what was that, nearly a year ago? I mean,
it was back in February.
Oh wow.
Just seeing where the economy has tanked, how many people are struggling, the schools having to put suicide numbers on the kids' ID. There's just so much that shows that this conference needs to take place, and how many families probably don't even know that they need to be there. And that's what breaks my heart, because I'm like, it's okay to say that you need to get help. And that's how that got started with me and you.
It was so cool how every little piece of it's like there's this big puzzle, and I just keep seeing more and more pieces, and they keep falling into place. And it's been really hard. Like, putting this puzzle together has been a challenge, but the fact that every piece has come together in the most beautiful way, it's mind blowing. And it's so obvious that this is really, really needed. And what's happening with all of this it's amazing. And it's this giant ripple of positivity and peace. And it's rippling out into our community. And you guys, it's going to go so much further than just Johnson County, but it's going to make a huge difference in our community to give people these tools, these tangible tools, these metaphorical tools, whatever, and to be spreading this hope and peace. I am so excited.
So in our prevention world, you hear so much about sustainability.
Right.
And so we get grants and things to help the community, but we also have to show that we're, showing that the community is going to be able to go forward and continue to make the progress. And I really do feel like this conference is going to let people walk away with tools that they're going to walk away with something. I mean, we have different speakers and breakout sessions, and I think that we're trying to cover something for everyone. And some people that show up might not even know why they're there, but they know that they're needing help. And I don't know. I feel like through COVID, people either grew or they didn't. And I was lucky that I was someone that I lost 70 pounds, and I really got to focus on me for once. And you were saying like healthy movement with the body. That's where I kind of turned. And I can't imagine not doing that now, because that is something that helped me. But before that, I was depressed, and you get in a black hole, and then your kids are having to see that, and it's horrible. Like, I know that they would come and see me in a dark room, and I would just watch Netflix, and I would make sure that they were fed, and I would be at PTO meetings, and I was like surface level there, but internally I was crying for help too. And of course, the doctors, they put you on medication and this and that, and I think everybody has a certain thing that can help them with their mental health. It's not the same across the board.
It's not
for
one
everybody.
size fits all. And there's every single person is going to leave with, even if it's a small thing, maybe it's a whole bag full of swag or swag and tangible tools. We've really made sure we've been very intentional about everything that we've done, that there is something that for every person. And Ashley, you said the other night we were on the show, and she said something about the tools and how there's like, maybe your thing is music. Maybe you're thinking, we got a playlist for everyone to take home.
Y'all do? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So the other night I was talking about how we have this toolkit, but we've also referred to it as a tool belt. And I think that everyone can have multiple tools, and that can look like yoga or music or the Bible or a sport or art or your support system. But some days you're going to pull out your yoga, and then another day maybe you don't feel like it, but you call that friend. So it's about equipping yourself with a multitude of tools and having that whole kit so that you can pull out different ones whenever it's applicable. So I think that this conference, we have been intentional to show people a variety of tools.
Mm-hmm.
We have people coming in and talking about the tools that they used.
Mm-hmm.
We have people coming in breakout sessions teaching you how you can use other tools. We're very intentional with using the word tools because I really believe that will empower people to cope with their mental health or their stress or whatever they're going through.
Right.
So
even outside of mental health, like just
Mhm.
trials.
yeah.
I feel like the people that came to the table that have been really digging deep in this conference, every one of us are know that we've struggled with mental health, and then it's made us even aware that we're normal, and that's actually, you know, that you're not the only
That's the
one.
other thing
And
we
that,
want people to hear. Look at all of these people that we're all in this together. So like Sarah says, let's link arms and let's rise above together.
It's exciting, and I'm excited that there's so many different opportunities. Guys, if y'all just knew how many special things are going to be at this conference. I'm trying to think some of the breakout sessions. You want to share a little bit about those?
Sure. So some of our breakout sessions, we will be having a art therapist. We will be having Dr. Crystal Coyer, author of the Neurobout's Guide. Neurobout's Guide. She will be a main session speaker and also a breakout session where she'll be talking about brain-based skills. And then we have an Enneagram and a self-love cycle for our breakout sessions. And everyone will have the choice to take one that day. And then you will have all 5 of your main session speakers that you can listen to.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about some of the speakers that day and why you came to the decision to even approach them, or maybe they approached you.
It's kind of ironic, the speaker situation, because at one point we had an excess. And this was something where I was feeling like when this first started, I was like, it was just me.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because I was on the phone. Was it Lisa yesterday, one of our speakers?
Yes.
And even she was like, I still feel like I'm almost in a time crunch, which I told her, you know, this is our first year, and we might, you know, who knows, there could be a second annual Rise conference. I mean, this is exciting that there's already so much excitement about that. But we had so many great people that wanted to come to the stage and tell their story.
Right.
That that has been hard to really figure out who's going to be on that stage, and then the management.
Timing. Oh my gosh. Like we really
could have had
this again. We could do a 3-day thing, and it still wouldn't be enough.
Yes, it is.
You know, and
that
that's
actually isn't a bad idea, because what about people that can't be there on a Saturday because of soccer or different things, and a Friday after, you know? So that might.
I've thought about that a lot, and I even had like speakers ask me like, well, what if we had more time? Could we have more time? And it's just not in the cards for us this year to have a long time. We're going to make it work. As I always say, go with the flow, and we're definitely doing that. But we could really go on. I was thinking about this the other day, the amount of speakers we have, and it's a good problem to have so many people in my circle that are passionate about some of the same things I'm passionate about. My pastor at Lifegate Church, Chad, he has been vocal ever since COVID about mental health and about how that's affected him, how it's affected his family, his church.
It's so sad.
It's sad what it's done to churches and pastors.
I picture my grandmother, and one of my grandmothers is still, you know, living in her home. We're blessed that she's able to do that. So we were still able to go over there and visit her. But my other grandmother was in assisted living. And guys, before COVID, she would play and go to the movies in her little assisted living. She was very active. We could go in there and visit her, and usually she wasn't even in her room. She was doing her little events. I mean, because they keep those elderly pretty busy in those assisted living. I mean, they have a calendar. That's now, because we didn't get to. We got to go see her once. They let her come to the glass doors, and we got to talk to her about 10 feet away. It was devastating when I'm getting teary-eyed even thinking about it, because it was hard to talk to her and know that she was just going to have to go back in the doors, and we couldn't even hug her.
Right.
And so as COVID just kind of, I think we all just kind of got engulfed in COVID, and it became our norm, which is sad. And now the assistant living, you know, you can come and go as you please, but she doesn't change her clothes anymore. Her dementia's gotten 90% worse. We can barely get her to eat. The twins will go by there and they'll beg her to go walking, because they're like, it's good for your muscles. It's good for your muscles, Wita. And it's hard because how many other family, I mean, that's just the elderly generation. But what about all the other people. I mean, I'm sure y'all have stories of your own of what COVID has done to the.
Well, that was a big part of this. Was I started thinking about all of the division that's happened in the church, in families, and like vaccinated, not vaccinated, politics, local and big, and all the other things. And I was like, man, everyone is struggling and everyone's arguing about their struggle. Why don't we just face the fact that we're struggling together and let's get united on at least one thing, that this sucks. And I'm sad and I'm anxious and I'm losing sleep and I'm not the only one. So let's talk about it. So COVID it sucked, y'all, but it brought some good stuff.
It really brought awareness to mental
and
health.
it brought appreciation. Like I know working at Reach, and I've shared this with Erica and even Ashley, having a job that appreciates you is very rare.
Right.
And when you've worked in other positions or with other agencies or companies where you're just one more, and it doesn't matter and they could care less about your mental health, it's so uplifting to work somewhere, and you've got to experience Reach and what we get to do and how exciting it is. But we really do care about each other, like, and as a family.
Yep.
And I think that I don't know if I would have appreciated that. I've said that before. If you didn't work in certain places that you didn't get to put family first, which is one of Reach's mottos, is family first, then are you going to appreciate it if you've never had to not get to do that?
I'm laughing because in the parking lot before I walked in, my boss texted me, your babies are only so little. For so long, you need to be enjoying your time with them. My boss texted me that in the parking lot.
That's where bosses need to start turning and actually and understanding that, guess what, when you treat your employees like that, how much harder do they work?
Right.
How much more
love my job because I'm cared about.
How much more passion do they have? How much more are they more eager? I mean, it's true. And I just wish that more people saw that, but then they probably are struggling with their mental health and
it's a negative ripple. But I think with Rise is we can rise out of that stuff together. I mean, with this conference, we can make connections. This doesn't have to, it's not a networking event, but you're going to meet people in the community and you're going to find people that you're like, oh my gosh, this company or this person is what I need to kind of seal in and be a tool for my mental health as I rise up above these struggles. And I think people are going to be really impactful and impacted.
I haven't even looked at the time. Yeah. Speaking of that, do we have any vendor tables open just in case any listeners?
We may have like maybe 2 spots, maybe a couple.
And what kind of spots would y'all want that to look like if there's someone listening, or y'all like
something related to mental health or just overall health and wellness? We reach out to us.
Reach out.
So we're wanting the community to come together. If you have something that, say, like, I'm trying to think. We have therapists.
Some examples would be therapist. Like cryotherapy is going to be there. That's been a tool for me for my mental health. We do, I believe, have a massage therapist. So people who are needing more time for self-care. So that's an example. But
and
like
Burleson
Mind Over Matter,
ISD, like, it's so exciting. Yeah. They have really stepped up and they are trying to see that the students need to also be seen, and they're going to be there, representing help, wanting to just advocate for mental health. To me, that's like a huge deal.
Yeah.
So if there's another school in Johnson County that would love to have a table there,
anybody with bullying, one topic that's come up a lot in mental health, that's where my mental health kind of went downhill, was I was bullied, and I hear about that a lot. Kids are killing themselves because they're bullied. And so there was a group, but they're national. I couldn't get them to commit to us. So if there's a group that's maybe local or just someone that's available to come out that day and speak about the awareness of bullying and how it impacts the children.
Now that you're saying that, Dr. Collier, she's got her, have you seen her book?
Yes.
So when she's been on the show, she addresses bullying a lot differently than I've heard, because she does also talk to the parents of the kids that are getting bullied. And sometimes you've got to have those hard conversations, as well as, what are you doing? Maybe that she's not putting the blame on the child that's getting bullied, but sometimes parents do need to have those conversations with their kids about different ways to behave or discuss things with kids where you're not getting to be picked on all the time. But that might be something that she could discuss. So maybe when we come back, we can talk a little bit about that. So we're going into commercial.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
You're listening to JoCo Community Radio.
Good evening. Welcome back to the Reach Across Johnson County radio show segment. We're going to take a moment to thank today's radio sponsor. JoCo Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoCo.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch, and the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store, check out our lineup, and more. JoCoCommunityRadio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844.tex.hail. That's 844-839-4245. Be sure to dress your arms and more at the Tiffy.com.
Tiffy.com. And it's TheTiffie.com. So did y'all know that Tiffany has these little things called the
Tiffy sleeves.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not know
Okay,
that.
we'll have to show you. We'll
Yeah.
have to go to that. But I'm so proud of you for just reading that far.
Thanks. I exam on the spot.
So welcome back, everybody. We have our special guest, Sara Tynan, here tonight, and we are discussing the upcoming Rise Mental Health Conference, which we are super excited about. Ashley, if you want to share a little bit, and then we'll go back in just in case you're joining us after the commercial break.
Yeah, so something I don't think we mentioned is the date today. So this conference is on Saturday, October 8th. It's only a few weeks away, so sign up today from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Pathway Church here in Burleson, 325 Northwest Renfro Street, Burleson, Texas. It's completely free because we really want this event to be accessible to all. As we know, mental health care can be difficult to obtain at times. So that's why we just really want to make this event available to everyone. In addition, if you and your spouse want to maybe come together, or if you have a child and you need someone to watch them so that you can attend this event, we are providing free childcare. You just need to register them whenever you sign up for the event. So we kind of mentioned earlier, but we will be having some fantastic main session speakers. We have, a lot of y'all know Dr. Crystal Coyer, the author of the Neuro Whereabouts Guide. We have Rachel Henning. She's a licensed professional counselor. We have local Dr. Tina Bernard. She's a professional educator and author. Pastor Chad Benson and Lisa Boltinghouse, the CEO and founder of the ASD Center. We'll be having breakout sessions for art therapy, brain-based skills, Enneagram, and the self-love cycle. We will be having vendors and resources, local resources if you're unaware of maybe a free counseling service or a certain therapy option. You can find several at this event. We'll even be providing you in your free canvas bag a resource
Super
list.
cute, by the way.
Super, super cute. If that's not a reason to come alone, come for the canvas bag and the free t-shirt. Free t-shirt too, guys. We'll be having raffle items and food trucks and ice cream, and it's going to be really fun. So if you don't come, you're really missing out.
Yes, and let's talk about those raffle items. I know ITS is, I'm going to get that certificate tomorrow from Levi, so that's exciting. I can't remember what I talked him into. So tomorrow I'm going to, let's just see, but there will be an ITS gym membership, which is where I go. And it's not just a gym, it's a family. It's huge. It's a lot of yoga, Pilates, I feel like, and then weightlifting. So you kind of do it all. You have to foam roll. He's very big on that. So it's not your normal gym. There's people of all ages in there, and that's what I love about it. Like my mom is nearly 70, and I feel like she could walk in there with me if she wanted to, if I could talk her into it, and she would benefit from it. So I'm excited about that raffle item. Sarah can share about some of the other.
Yeah, we've got another big one we have is a VIP package to C3 Cryo Club where I work.
It's amazing too.
So yeah, cryotherapy has been a game changer for my mental health. And it's so funny. Speaking of my boss who is always looking out for me, I show up and I'm usually coming from being around the kids and a little stressed. And she's like, if I vent to her, she's like, hey, why don't we get you in that chamber? Because she knows that as soon as I get out of cryotherapy, I'm like, okay, I can breathe. And obviously yoga too.
Her son's one of my trainers at ITS, right, Daniel?
Daniel, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, she is very passionate about health and wellness and holistic health and how you can find real tangible tools in life to be your healthiest self. And so she and her business, C3 Crowd Club, have been a game changer for my mental health over the past few years. So
explain what that is?
Cryotherapy? Oh, absolutely. So cryo is cold. I've actually had people come that didn't know that, and I get it. I guess I've just been in it for so long.
Super cold.
Super cold, like negative 110. Is that Fahrenheit or Celsius? Negative 220.
That's what I was going to say.
220 in, but I don't know if it's Fahrenheit or Celsius. I forget which is which.
It is so cold.
It's very cold.
I think it's 2 minutes and you think, oh, I can do it. And then you get in there and you're like,
but we distract you the whole time we talk to you, which also helps with your mental health. You need a vent session? I got you.
If you're having body aches or super stressed or tensed up, or even if you just overdid it, one weekend at the gym or or even hiking or something like that,
soreness.
It does really help with soreness, but also mental health. I don't know what it is about the bloodstream, and
so it adds more oxygen into your bloodstream, which
is.
Also helps the way that your brain works, and that's why I always feel very.
Have you done it? Maybe we need to take y'all by there.
Yeah, y'all come see me on Friday.
Sounds painful, actually.
I'm addicted to it in the best way.
You would be surprised how many people actually want
we've
that
been
pain.
Busy. Yeah. It's bringing real health to people that are like, oh my gosh, I've been hurting for years and I've never found anything that works. This works for me. So yes, the cold is a hard part, but what's cool about the VIP package that we're giving away at Rise is it's, so you come in, you do the infrared sauna, great for burning calories, also great for soreness. And then after your sauna, you come and do Normatec, which is compression. It's almost like a massage done to you by these sleeves.
Yes.
That we have legs, hips, and arms all separate.
I see a lot of the athletes from like the schools in there and things.
We do. We have athlete packages as well. So you sweat, then you get your compression, and then you do your cold therapy, and then you're done. And you feel like a VIP.
That's awesome.
So we're giving that away. We've got a couple like on the smaller side, but things that are going to be more like tangible. We found some hydro jugs. Water has also been a game changer for my health.
It's crazy how many different things. I mean, I'm like just us discussing all of this. It is really. There's not just one thing.
Yeah. Right.
And I think that people get down on themselves because they're like, oh, I'm doing this wrong or I'm doing this wrong. But like truly, there's just so many different things. And even if you just pick up one tool, like the water,
right?
And you walk away from the conference with your water jug. And that's it can really change. Okay. Sorry, I got excited.
No, I am too. And then, like I said, this started with being a health fair because, and it was going to be like obviously mental health and physical health. But when I started looking at vendors, I'm like, my physical health impacts my mental health so much. When I'm thriving physically, I'm thriving mentally.
I have shared that with my our team how many times about what physical has done
Makes a
for
big
my mental
difference.
health. I mean, I literally got off. I've been on Wellbutrin for 3 years, and it has. I mean, my husband actually, I was like, I think I'm getting stressed. I think I need it because we've just had a lot going on. And he goes, don't do that. You know, it's just going to numb you up. You really, he has noticed how different I am, that he for once wasn't like, you need to go get your medication.
Right.
Because I don't know about y'all, but whenever you're on medication, your spouse is usually the first one to know if you're needing to take it, if you have missed a dose or something. And for him to say that, so that does show that physical movement and things can really change your mental state.
Well, I make this joke all the time that if I skip a week of yoga, my husband will be like, Sarah, get your butt back to yoga class. Trust me, I need it. I need you to be in yoga.
What were you going to say?
I was just going to say that that's really supported by science, like nutrition and exercise. Because whenever you're exercising, your body's literally releasing serotonin and endorphins, which make you, it uplifts your mood. It makes you feel happier. And then with nutrition, with what you're eating, if you're eating crap all the time, that causes inflammation in your body. And like your gut literally feeds your brain and that causes that inflammation in your brain, and your mood goes downhill, versus whenever you're feeding that good bacteria in your gut, like your veggies, your fruits, maybe the foods we don't want to eat, salmon, like fish is so good for your brain. And then it's like doing the opposite, and it's uplifting your mood. It's all supported by science. It's fascinating.
Ashley needs a podcast just on these things, because I could listen to all of this forever.
I love that. I could talk about that forever.
But you know, I'm thinking about what you're saying. So in 2013, I was a recruiter for a foster care agency, and I would have to be up there. And you know how in a few weeks, it's crazy how like right now it's still so light up outside, but then all of a sudden it's just going to be dark at like 6:30 because of the time change and everything. So I would have to go down the stairs at night, and one night, and close up by myself after my meetings for the foster parents, because they'd have to come, of course, after work and everything. And I fell down the stairs and I hit my head, and of course I drove home, and then the next day I could barely walk because I had fractured my tailbone and actually ended up really messing up my neck. And I didn't even know any of this because I'm such like a worker bee. I just went straight back to work the next day. And then of course they're like, you've got to go to the doctor. Like we saw on camera where you fell down and all of this. But the reason why I'm sharing that is throughout that and having to get help for all of that, the doctors didn't push me to like move more and things. And they put me on all these different medications. And now that I work in the prevention world and I see, you know, what hydrocodone and all these different things are doing to America, and and I literally endured it and didn't know it. And it put me into the deepest depression. And the thing about those medications, and when you're not eating the right things and you're not moving, you know, your body and getting those endorphins and everything, you just become into that medication can just put you into the deepest, darkest depression. And then it just keeps getting worse. Because then you're needing that medication and nothing is making you feel any better. And I remember it was probably around 2015 that I had neck surgery. And I've always been, I'm the kind of person that I kind of put on like the smile all the time because I don't want to really talk about things. But I remember really thinking like, do I even want to keep doing this to my family? Like, is it even better, everything that I'm going through? And I just can't imagine if I had just started moving my body, or someone had been talking to me to give me those healthy options, or even my family talking to me and being like, Nikki, we're kind of worried about you. Nobody did that. Nobody even knew what I was going through. Nobody wanted to say anything. Nobody wanted to say, get out of the dark room, or, hey, maybe you need to go talk to somebody. And that's kind of scary because I have a really amazing family and I have really good friends, but nobody was even noticing that. And then, I mean, I don't understand how someone that is very personal and things can get to that point. It can happen to anybody. And when it does, it's very scary. And that's kind of, I think, one of the reasons why this conference is so passionate to me about all the different steps or avenues that people can take.
And I don't want to dog on medication. Like, I know I said I was really proud of myself to get off medication, and I did that with a doctor. I also wrote in my book about it, but I have to say this. If we talked about this the other day with Rachel, if you have high blood pressure, what's that doctor going to say? Yes, eat right, but also in the meantime, take this medication. And if that's what you are needing in your journey to mental health healing, go for it. But we're also going to offer other
Well,
tools
I
as
want to say
well.
this. I was on medication literally up until August for 3 years, and I didn't start really changing everything in my life and seeing like the full pages of everything turn until 2020.
Mhm.
So that medication had to have done something to get me where I am today,
Right.
because that's the 3 years that I've really transitioned and grown the most. That first year, maybe it didn't start then, but it probably got me to where I'm at. So I think
Right.
that, you know, if nothing is working and that is something your doctor is suggesting, then you definitely do need to try that as well. I mean, there's all different avenues and things.
Yeah, it's one of those tools that we were talking about.
And it's an important one, because who knows where, I
Right.
don't know. I mean, it's scary, but
Yeah, your journey may include doctors, and at one point for my journey, it was a mental health institution where I was like, it felt like a movie, y'all. And I'm like around a bunch of people, and it was kind of humbling because I was like, oh, maybe I'm not crazy. Hearing all these other people and their struggles, and it was humbling. But yes, rock bottom brought me there, and it also included medication. And then eventually I got to a place where I was like, well, what could life be if I didn't need medication? So then I worked with other tools and stuff.
And I know that this conference isn't totally based on God, but that's another, avenue as well. I know that my faith got me through a lot of things. And I remember one day just really asking God for a job that gave me purpose. And I didn't even know there was a job like I have today. And people ask me sometimes, Nikki, what do you do? And I kind of say, I've told our team this, I'm like Chandler on Friends, but I don't even think my family really understand what we do, because our job, it's so crazy what we get to do for the community. But if I hadn't really prayed to God and asked him for purpose and to send me somewhere, and then he did. And not only that, he did it in the county that I was born and raised. It's been amazing. And then just for the friends and your friends are another part of that. I know Ashley brought it up of who you can go to and turn to in different things. And we just want to make everybody understand that that's important as well.
Well, it was kind of funny if you think about, like, a lot of this started with some of my connections, which were all happened to be Christian. And then, like, that's a good problem to have, that my circle was so surrounded in God. And this is a secular conference, and talking about tools, the day after the doctor said, okay, you can complete that dosage, you're done with your medication, I went and I got tattooed on my body Rapha, which Jehovah Rapha means God our healer. And I felt like I had been praying for so long to not rely on medication, to feel like I could function in a society without being a numb robot. And I felt like he brought me those tools. And so that's a big part of my healing journey is
and
God.
I mean, whenever you don't have the right tools to, like, I wasn't moving my body in a healthy way. I was just using TV as a numbing mechanism. I mean, I guess that's kind of a way to describe it.
Like
escapism.
escapism.
Escape. Yes. Just, it could put me in a different element where I wasn't having to feel as much. But that medication was also having to help me get through that too. So when you don't have the right tool, or the tools or the right tool belt, there's got to be something that is helping you until you can learn what that healthy avenue might be.
Right.
And then, of course, eating differently. That's hard too, because I'm a binge eater and I struggle with it. And I look back and I have struggled with it ever since a kid. I mean, I was always a little girl, and I didn't realize that it was going to become a problem. But then as you get older, you realize you have to make healthy choices. And that's really, really hard, especially when that's your avenue for escape.
Right. I learned when I went through my coaching program, mindful eating. So it's a lot of turning off. So I no longer have a TV or a phone when I eat. I have my feet on the ground if I can reach. I'm really short. And I'm really like, it's almost like having a relationship with your food. And one thing I did was I started reading my Bible every time I went to eat. And it was like I was getting sustenance from the word. And then I was like, in gratitude as I was eating every bite, I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, God, for this bite. And I didn't binge, which, I don't have a past of that, but I could see myself if I wasn't paying attention.
And I still catch myself if, like today, we had a lot going on at work, and we were just trying to just get so many different things going and documents submitted. And, it's the end of the fiscal year, and it's a lot. And what did I turn to? I went and grabbed Jack in the Box. And I don't even know the last time I've done that.
How'd you feel after you ate it?
What did I say?
She felt awful and
30
regretted
minutes
eating.
to an hour, we're in a
Right.
Zoom meeting, and I was like, guys, why did I not tell
Yeah.
y'all that was a horrible choice?
We went on a road trip this weekend, and it was like, what the heck are we going to eat? Because both my husband and I, we've gotten to this point where we're like, it's not even fun anymore to go to the drive-thrus. Like, I feel terrible afterwards.
It is.
Mentally.
Okay, another example. The twins had soccer on Saturday. So hot outside, guys, and the humidity was crazy. And with Liam's lungs, Heath brought them Chick-fil-A minis before the game, and I remember telling the twins, "This is a horrible."
Now hold on, that's a Lord's chicken.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A is allowed in our home on a regular.
guys. But with the humidity being 100%, it was. I mean, so if it's 100%, does that mean it's going to rain? So maybe not 100%. How does that work?
High humidity.
Okay,
yeah, I got you.
But anyways, it was so bad, and poor Liam was like, I don't know if I should ever make that decision again. All he did was one lap, y'all, didn't get to play the whole game.
Well, it's not. He's not fueling his body.
That's what I
with
said.
what
I
he
go,
needs.
we need to do fruit smoothies, things that are healthy for the body, and they learn that the hard way. So it is
right.
It is so. There's so many different things.
Speaking of the day of our conference, you guys,
Yes,
what kind of food are we gonna have?
What is the food?
So the one truck I'm excited about everything, but Bondi Bowls is a food truck, and they make these acai bowls, which our first meeting ever as a group, we had acai bowls, and it was like we were fueling our bodies eating all this fruit. And I remember that was the day that we wrote all of our hopes on the board. Right. And we're like eating all this healthy food, having great conversation. And so at the conference, we're having a variety of food. So there will be something for everyone. We're going to have the bowls. We'll have Taps International. They're going to have a variety. I believe I posted the menu, but if not, Taps International food, there's a variety of foods. And then one of my friends that actually went through yoga teacher training school, her and her husband started a barbecue company. And I remember like 6 years ago, her telling me, I think I want to open a barbecue truck. And they did. So they're going to be serving barbecue inside of the church.
I know which line I'm going through.
And then at 2:10, when we end our speaker sessions, we're going to have Morgan's Ice Cream, which we do in my family. We try to do no dairy. So they're going to have some vegan options. So that'll be really nice for people that are, kind of wanting a treat, but still a little conscious about some things. So yeah, Morgan's Ice Cream.
I just feel like I know there are things that we're forgetting, and whenever the day of the conference comes, but I really do feel like there's just something for everybody at the conference. Especially with the food, just thinking about all the different options with that.
And the food was another thing we were really intentional about. Like Ashley and I have had these conversations for, 9 months now. Like, we want to provide people with something to eat, but we don't want to say like, well, you have to eat a salad because that's what I eat for my mental health. Right. We want to have options, and we do. And we're going to have that. Again, the intentionality of it all.
For everything. Yeah. Every single detail. I feel like
we've thought about this. A lot of us have actually prayed about it. So that so much thought and intentionality has gone into every single thing, from the logo to the food trucks.
From the logo to like even the wording and everything. Like, remember what you're saying whenever we were talking, we had that meeting, and we had like a vision board.
Yeah, we wrote all of our hopes and dreams for
the different words that were coming to our minds with the conference. And I mean, this has been on your heart for over a year. And I mean, I was literally envisioning it and talking to Jen about it, going, how are we going to make this happen? And what can it look like? I remember us talking about it, and then we would kind of throw it to the back burner. And then one day I just called her. I was like, I think this can actually happen.
And it's funny because I felt the same way. I'm one person, you guys, and I don't even have like my business is kind of like here and there. I don't have like a big old thing. And I'm like, I'm all alone doing this by myself. And God's like, no, you're not. I will equip you with the tools and the people. And he has. And now it's all come together. And
another thing, though, it has been so much of the community too. Like you said, Tiffany with the radio show. And just how much that she's sharing has been just so purposeful, and it's huge to see that on her heart.
Right.
The school wanting to come and be a part of it.
Mind Above Matter.
Just all the different community members.
Just support
all knowing that this is something that needs to take place. That to me just makes I'll share with my mom every now and then because I get really excited. I'm like, is this not huge that
in Pathway, I mean, the fact that we have this venue, that was the first thing I remember.
And then when we got the child care, when they said we're going to cut free child care, we feel like this is an important event that needs to take place. Like that's just
sponsors,
so many different things,
support. all of that.
Well, I can't help but be so excited that I've literally been talking about our conference everywhere I go.
So
Yes,
Erica is
same.
amazing about
I
it.
love that. Yay.
She will tell me how she slips it in and she like just hands out flyers, and I'm like, I need to be Erica. I have got to be better about how
Right.
she's just so passionate about it.
Well, you know, I told you about the cryotherapy. That's part of my job is I have to distract people for the 3 minutes while they're really cold. And I always make a slip. And everyone that leaves gets a little flyer.
That's amazing.
Like, on your way out.
I mean, and if anybody is listening and y'all know of any other ways that we should share, or if you want to even help or volunteer at the event, we would love to have you. Or of course, you know, the signups are going and we're wanting everybody to sign up and register for childcare in advance if you can, just so the church knows how many servants to be there to help with the kiddos.
Right. And we are going to have a virtual option. We can definitely share more about that on like how to join online. But my hope is that this can be more than just local. We can have people from all over the world.
So I've been going through Academy with my position at work, and we have different people that are actually coming in from all over the country virtually that have heard me talking about it at the trainings, and they're signing up, which is kind of cool.
Yes.
That is cool.
So, and we have people I know for sure in Missouri that are going to be tuning in. So that's neat.
I'm trying to think. We had a surge in online signups right after the Christian Yoga magazine, which I write for, came out, and we had an ad in there about the conference, and a lot of people signed up from virtual from all over the world.
And it makes me nervous because I'm like, what is this going to look like? You know, it's just, it's all new. And then to try to put this into the virtual world as well, but we're going to do our best.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's gonna be cool.
It's just neat that we're going to be able to have that option for people too as well.
And we thought about people like that have anxiety, you know, don't want to leave their house. So
I wanted to say, because I also think it's common that some people are still nervous to admit that maybe they are struggling in their mental health. And maybe you feel like if you come to this conference, that's admitting it, and maybe you don't want people to see. And I would just want to, if that's you or you're just nervous to come, period, I just want to encourage you and take that leap, because even though you're really nervous, I think that you will get something out of us, and it would be worth it. Sometimes we do just have to take that leap, and I promise you'll get something out of it.
Yeah.
You know, I do think that we have to kind of look at sometimes when we're on the other end of struggling in the darkness, that it's easier to walk and try to say, oh, this worked and this helped and this did this, and then be able to share your story, right? But when you're going through it, it's not easy to talk about it all. So we do need to, I guess, really be careful and just, what's the word? Accept compassionate to people, because that is a journey that
they might be
we're all on
currently
different walks of it.
Right.
Well, I think for me personally, I didn't even realize that I was in that dark place until I started hearing some things and talking to a patient about, you know, we have to do the depression screenings. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize. Check.
Oh no.
And I had fallen into this dark place. COVID went the other way for me. We never, you know, I never stopped working, and it was compassion fatigue. I was just so exhausted.
I know. And the healthcare workers, I'm sorry. I mean, y'all did go through it, and they're still going through it with just everything.
Yes. I've seen so many of my nurse friends, first responder friends struggle and still continue to struggle because they are so short staffed still.
So we really want everybody to be able to, you know, show up and just even if you're nervous about it, you can show up and just see how you feel about everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Do you want to share that?
Sure. Yes. We also just want to say that even if you're not the one struggling, but maybe someone you know is struggling, or maybe you encounter someone who might be in the future, this will help you help them, and maybe it could help you save a life.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye,
See y'all
y'all.
next week.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio. At Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company.